Chapter 38. Arjuna encounters the Kurus. At dawn the next day, the Kaurava army arrived at the opposite side of the city from where the battle with the Trigartas had been fought. Finding herds of cattle grazing there, immediately they seized them. Once again, the terrified cowherders, seeing the Kaurava banners, fled into the city. They ran to the royal court, crying for protection. Virata's eldest son, Bhumanijai, was sitting on the king's throne in Virata's absence. The leader of the cowherders came before him and spoke. "O Prince, O mighty hero, we depend on you alone. The mighty Kauravas, with Duryodhana in the lead, are now seizing our cows once again. You must defend the honor of our race. The king has always praised your heroism and power. Taking whatever soldiers who still remain in the city, display now your prowess. You are this kingdom's greatest support. Why, you resemble Arjuna himself. So we beseech you, save us, save us." Thus addressed in front of the palace ladies, Bhumanijai proudly replied, "Yes, surely I will display my prowess with the bow today. But I need a skilled charioteer, for my own charioteer was recently slain and has not been replaced. So find the best of men to drive my horses, for I will fight a tremendous battle with those haughty Kauravas. Entering into their army of elephants, chariots, and horsemen, I will destroy them, and after striking terror into the hearts of Duryodhana, Bhishma, Karna, and Kripa, I will bring back the cows. The assembled Kurus will see my prowess and will wonder whether it is actually Arjuna who is fighting with them." The brave words of the prince circulated throughout the palace and soon reached Arjuna, who was then known as Brihannala. Delighted at the chance to confront Duryodhana, he approached Draupadi and said, "Go at once to the prince and tell him that Brihannala was formerly Arjuna's charioteer. O slender-waisted princess, convince him to let me drive his chariot into the battle against the Kurus." Draupadi went straight to the royal court, where she found Bhumanijai still vaunting his prowess. Unable to bear his repeated references to Arjuna, Draupadi stepped forward and spoke. "Oh, that beautiful youth who resembles an elephant and who is known by the name Brihannala was once Arjuna's charioteer. He was the disciple of Partha and is himself a mighty bowman. Why, I saw him when I lived with the Pandavas. It was Brihannala who drove Arjuna's chariot when he vanquished the gods at the Kandava forest. Indeed, there is no charioteer like him." "Oh, Sairindri, I am indeed surprised. For how can I ask a eunuch to govern my horses?" "O hero, just have your sister Uttara ask him. Certainly he will do her bidding. Do not hesitate to engage him. With Brihannala as your charioteer, undoubtedly you will vanquish the Kurus and rescue the cows." Still doubtful, the prince turned to Uttara and said, "Go at once and fetch Brihannala." Virata's daughter nodded and left the court. That lotus-eyed maiden was as beautiful as Lakshmiji herself, with her slender waist and well-rounded breasts adorned with pearls. She ran to the dancing hall, her golden ornaments tinkling as she hurried along. Finding Brihannala, she bowed humbly before him. "O Brihannala, our cows are being carried away by the Kurus. My brother, full of heroism, is about to confront them with bow in hand. But he requires a charioteer. Sairindri told him that formerly you drove Arjuna's chariot. She said that there was no one equal to you in the skills of governing horses and driving chariots. O Brihannala, become the prince's charioteer. But go quickly, there is no time to lose." Arjuna simply smiled and immediately left the palace, followed by Uttara, just as an elephant in rut is followed by a she-elephant. As he entered the court, the prince called out, "Aha, Brihannala, you are here! I have heard that you are skilled in the driving of chariots. As you drove Arjuna's chariot into battle against his foes, so today you should drive my chariot against the Kurus." Arjuna approached the prince and glanced downwards. Playing with the long braid of hair which hung down his side, he replied, "Oh, what power do I have to act as a charioteer? Had you wanted song and dance, then I would have been the correct choice. How can I drive horses into battle?" Bhuminijai just looked at Brihannala. Although a eunuch, he was huge-bodied and appeared to possess great power. His arms, covered with bangles and bracelets, seemed like decorated serpents, and his shoulders, draped with white silk, were as broad as a palace door. Having faith in Sairindri's words, the prince replied, "O Brihannala, whatever you may be, just drive my chariot today. We shall challenge the wicked Kurus on the battlefield." The prince then had a suit of armor brought for Brihannala. As if to make fun, Arjuna struggled to put it on in various wrong ways. He appeared bewildered and even dropped the armor with a loud clatter. The palace ladies laughed, and Bhuminijai came over to help him don the shining armor. Bhuminijai then led Arjuna out to his chariot, which flew a flag bearing the sign of a lion. The prince climbed aboard his chariot, his armor shining brilliantly in the morning sun. Brihannala took his place at the front of the chariot and held the reins. The palace maidens called out to him, "O Brihannala, after the prince defeats the Kurus, take from them their fine silks and clothes as a token of your victory. Yes, we desire to have those for our dolls. Yes, when the prince overpowers the Kurus, then I shall surely bring back many beautiful clothes for you." And as Bhuminijai was about to set off for battle, the Brahmanas blessed him. "May that great victory which Arjuna obtained at Kandava forest be yours today when you meet the Kurus." And with that, the Brahmanas walked around the chariot with their hands held palms outwards. Brihannala then urged on the horses, and the chariot moved off with a deep rumbling sound. Guided by Brihannala, the horses, decorated with golden necklaces and silver armor, seemed to fly through the air. Within a short time, the chariot came within sight of the Kurus, and Brihannala brought it to a halt. They were not far from the cremation ground where his weapons were stored. The prince and Arjuna gazed at the Kuru army in the distance. It seemed like a vast ocean, or like a forest of high trees moving through the sky. Why, the dust raised by the army rose up in a great cloud which screened the sun itself. Bhumani-Jai's mouth fell open. Why, he had never seen such a huge army. His hair stood on end, and he exclaimed, trembling while dropping his bow, "Even the Celestials could not face this army. The Kurus have in their midst heroes like Drona, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatthama, and that heroic king Duryodhana. Why, simply seeing them from a distance, I have become terrified." Wailing loudly, the prince ordered Brihannala to return to the city. I think it not wise to confront the Kauravas. My father has gone out with the army, and I am alone. I have not practiced the skills of warfare. I am only a boy. I cannot overcome those who are expert in war. O Brihannala, head back to the capital. Brihannala turned to face the terrified Bhumani-Jai. "Oh, Prince, why do you increase your enemy's delight? You have become pale with fear before you have even begun to fight. And in front of both men and women, you loudly vaunted your prowess. May I remind you what you said? I shall defeat the Kurus and bring back the cows. Those were indeed brave words, O mighty armed hero. So how can you now return unsuccessful? You will be derided by everyone. As for myself, eulogized by Sairindri and commanded by you, I have come here to defeat the Kurus, and I will not return without achieving that goal. Now, stop your wailing and let us proceed into battle." Bhumani-Jai simply stood shaking in the chariot. No, let the Kurus take our wealth as they please. Let the women and men laugh at me. Let the cows go anywhere. Let the city be desolate. Let me fear my father, but I cannot enter the battle. Bhumani-Jai then jumped down from the chariot and began running back towards the city. Arjuna called out to him, "A brave Kshatriya never flees the battlefield. Better to die in battle than to run away in fear." But Bhumani-Jai did not listen. With his long sword swinging from side to side as he ran, Bhumani-Jai did not even look back. Arjuna sprang from the chariot, running after him. Having seen the chariots approach, the Kurus had moved towards them. They saw the prince running away in fear, but they also noticed a most unusual figure pursuing him, with his long braid and white silks streaming in the breeze. The Kuru soldiers laughed and said to one another, "Who is this person who appears to be a eunuch? but he is fire concealed by ashes. Although assuming the form of a neuter, he does have the body of an elephant. Indeed, he resembles Arjuna, with the same head, the same neck, and the same mace-like arms. Why, his movements also resemble those of that Pandava. The Kurus gazed at Brihannala as he raced after the prince. Clearly he was no eunuch. Surely it was Arjuna in disguise. After all, who else would have dared to face the Kuru army alone? Obviously the Matsya prince had ventured to fight simply out of childishness. It seemed Arjuna was trying to stop him from fleeing. The Kuru warriors watched the scene, not quite certain if they were seeing Arjuna or not. Finally catching up to Bhumanijai, Arjuna seized him. But the prince cried out, "Oh, Brihannala, let me go! Turn back the chariot! Only one who lives can secure prosperity and happiness. When we get back, I will give you 100 coins of pure gold. I will give you 8 brilliant Vaidurya gems. I will give you an excellent rath drawn by the best of horses, and 10 infuriated elephants if you simply release me." Brihannala said nothing. He dragged the prince back to the chariot and then said, "O repressor of foes, if you do not like to fight, then let us swap places. You govern the horses, and I will fight the enemy. Protected by my arms, you may fearlessly enter into the midst of the dreadful Kuru army. Why are you distraught, O hero? You are the foremost of Kshatriyas and a great prince. Together we will overpower the Kurus and release the cows. Now take the reins and we shall proceed into battle." Although Bhumanijai was still terrified, he became encouraged by Arjuna's confidence. He sat down on the chariot and took the reins. Arjuna directed him to guide the chariot towards the shami tree by the crematorium. Before facing the Kurus, he wanted to retrieve his Gandiva bow. And as the chariot moved off, with Arjuna now in the back, the Kurus spoke amongst themselves. All of them suspected that the so-called eunuch was actually Arjuna. And so, within the hearing of Duryodhana, Bhishma, and Karna, Drona spoke up. "Yes, I perceive numerous ill omens. Violent winds are whipping up around us, throwing dust and gravel over our troops. The sky is now shrouded with darkness, and huge black clouds are forming overhead. Our celestial weapons seem to be jumping from their cases, and our horses are shedding tears. Jackals are yelling hideously nearby. All of these signs indicate a calamity. Now, protect yourselves and arrange the army nicely. You should expect a great slaughter, so you should guard well the cows. For this great bowman, in the guise of a eunuch, is undoubtedly Partha himself. O heroic men, surely this man dressed as a woman is Kiriti, whose chariot bears the emblem of Hanuman, the destroyer of Lanka's gardens. Indignant after his long stay in the forest, he will today wreak havoc in the battle. And I do not see anyone here amongst us Who can stop Arjuna from defeating us and taking back the cows? Oh, Drona, why do you always make light of us and praise Arjuna? He is not even 1/16 the part of either myself or Duryodhana. Oh, Radheya, if this is indeed Partha, then my work is done. We have discovered the Pandavas before their final year is completed. Now they will have to return to the forest. If this is anyone else in a eunuch's guise, then I shall soon lay him flat on the ground with my sharp arrows. Arjuna's chariot soon reached the Sami tree, out of sight of the Kurus. And Arjuna said, "O Prince, climb this tree and bring down the bundle which you see up there. It holds the weapons I need. Your bow and arrows will not be able to withstand the force of my mighty arms, especially when I am worked up with anger and I defeat our enemies. Here are all of the Pandavas' weapons, including my Gandiva bow, which is as huge as a palm tree and embellished with gold. It is a celestial bow without any blemish, and it is capable of bearing the heaviest weight. Oh, Brihannala, I have heard that it is a corpse. So how can I, a prince, touch such an unclean thing? No, do not be afraid. This is no corpse. There are only weapons wrapped in that bundle. Now, bring them down at once. I would not make you perform a cursed deed, born as you are of noble race, and heir to the Matsya kingdom." Reluctantly, Bhumanijai climbed the tree. He cut the bundle loose with his sword and brought it down to the ground, struggling under its huge weight. Arjuna instructed him to open the bundle, and the prince cut away the deerskin covering. And as the weapons were revealed, they shone like the sun. Bhumanijai gasped. The blazing weapons resembled serpents sighing. The prince was awestruck. He reached out to touch them and asked, "Oh, to what illustrious hero does this bow, with its 100 golden embellishments, belong to? And whose is this one, embossed with shining golden elephants? Surely some powerful warrior owns this bow, decorated as it is with 3 effulgent suns." Bhumanijai then carefully lifted the brilliant weapons. Arjuna's 2 inexhaustible quivers lay next to Nakula and Sahadev's swords, which had hilts worked with gold. Both swords were sheathed in tiger skins. Arjuna explained who owned the weapons. "The bow about which you first asked is Gandiva, and it is equal to 100,000 other bows and is worshipped even by the celestials. It was first held by Lord Brahma, then by Indra and Soma, and now it has come to Arjuna through the demigod Varuna. The bow next to Gandiva, adorned with 100 golden insects, belongs to Yudhishthir, and the huge bow next to that belongs to Bhimasena. The quivers containing winged shafts as sharp as razors belong to Arjuna. Those arrows become inexhaustible while in battle. And the sword nearby the quivers, bearing the emblem of a black bee and carrying the sting of a bee, also belongs to Arjuna." Brihannala described each weapon and its owner to the amazed prince, And when he had finished, Bhumanijai spoke. "Oh, these weapons are both beautiful and dreadful. But where are their owners? Where is Arjuna and the noble Yudhishthir? Indeed, where are the twins and that mightiest of men, Bhima? Why, we never hear of those heroes who are capable of destroying all enemies, but they have lost their kingdom in a game of dice. And where is that jewel among women, Draupadi, who followed them faithfully to the forest?" Arjuna then revealed to the prince his true identity and that of all of his brothers. The prince looked at him in total astonishment. He had never suspected it, but now it seemed quite obvious. The mighty Vallabha could very well be Bhima, and Kanka always had a certain nobility and bearing which outshone the other courtiers. Surely he could be Yudhishthir. But the prince still needed to be convinced. So he asked Arjuna, "All right then, I shall believe your words, only if you can tell me Arjuna's 10 names, which I have heard before." "Yes, because I conquered many countries and collected their wealth, I am known as Dhananjay. I never returned from battle without defeating my enemy, and thus I am called Vijay. My horses are white, and so they call me Shvetavahana. I was born when the constellation Uttara Falguni was the ascendant. Therefore, I am Falguni. Because I wear the brilliant crown given to me by my father, Indradev, I am called Kiriti. And since I am dreadful to behold in battle, men call me Bhibatsu. I am named Savyasachin because I am able to draw the bow with either of my hands. Being unapproachable and irrepressible, I am known as Jishnu. Arjuna is my name because I always perform white deeds of great purity. And my father, Pandu, out of affection for a black-complexioned boy, called me Krishna. These are my 10 names, O Prince." Bhumanijai then fell at Arjuna's feet with his arms outstretched. "Oh, by my good luck I have seen you, O Dhananjai. Please forgive anything I may have said to you out of ignorance. You are indeed worthy of my worship. My fears now are all removed, and I am ready to act as your charioteer. So now, please order me." And as Arjuna strapped on his quivers, he replied, "I will fight the Kurus and return your animals. Have no doubt. This chariot will be like your citadel, with my arms for its ramparts, and my Gandiva bow as its unassailable defense. Simply guide this chariot and have no fear. Ma-Shucha." Bhumanijai then placed the Pandavas' weapons in the chariot. "Now, with you in my chariot, how can I be afraid? But I am bewildered as to how you have accepted the guise of a eunuch. It seems incredible that one of your prowess and power should assume such a form." "Oh, I have been observing a vow for 1 year, both to acquire religious merit and to satisfy another's will. But that vow is now complete, O Prince." The Pandavas had calculated that the full term of their exile was completed that very day. Thus, Arjuna had revealed his identity to the prince without fear. Now he would fight openly with the Kurus. He looked at the horses yoked to the chariot. So, are these horses battle-trained? Oh yes, Arjuna. Proudly I tell you that these horses are equal to the 4 horses who draw Krishna's chariot. I myself am a skilled driver, no less skilled than Dwaraka or even Matali. I will break through the enemy ranks with such speed that the chariot will hardly be visible. Arjuna nodded and removed his bangles. He put on a pair of iguana skin gloves which covered his forearms. Tying back his hair with a piece of white cloth, he sat on the chariot and meditated upon his celestial weapons. And when they appeared within his mind, they spoke to him. "We are here, O son of Pandu. We are prepared to do your bidding." Oh, I am most delighted. Now, all of you dwell within my memory. The thought of doing battle with Duryodhana was filling Arjuna with new enthusiasm and energy. 13 years had been a long time to wait. Now at last he would have the chance to use the weapons which he had obtained from the gods. He strung the Gandiva and twanged it, producing a sound like 2 mountains striking one another. The earth vibrated, shaking the trees, and fireballs fell from the sky. And when the Kurus heard the terrific sound, they knew it was surely Arjuna with his Gandiva bow. Namaste Narasimhaya, Praklad Aklad Daine, Hiranya Kashipur Vakshaha, Shilatankana Kalayi, Ito Nrsinga Parato Nrsimho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha, Bahir Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimho, Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye, Tabakara Kamala Varei Nakam Adbhuta Sringam, Dalita Hiranya Kashipo Tanu Bringam, Keshavatritha Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Keshavadrita Nrsimha Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare